Hey everybody, it's bonus stuff. And we just got done reviewing Hitman from Netflix over on the review side, which comes out on Wednesdays. So go check that out. And I didn't really have a topic. Glenn, oh, here it was. This was my segue. Glenn Powell, who is the main character, started off in Spy Kids. I just learned that.
What?
Not too long ago. Yeah, he was in Spy Kids 3D.
Okay.
And
How old was he?
He was a little kid. He was like Junie's age. So
Really? He's
go Google that if you don't believe me. I saw it on Instagram, so maybe I don't
I
believe
just
myself.
can't imagine that face on a child.
All right, so that got me thinking about other celebrities and how they started their careers, and most of them, not surprisingly, started on commercials. So
Round chicken.
check out this chicken commercial. I
Mm.
don't want to blast out your ears, so let's go.
Big news!
Oh my gosh.
We've always cooked our chicken in cholesterol-free cottonseed oil. We now have cholesterol-free batter, too, so our chicken is cooked completely cholesterol-free. And it tastes just as great as always. We figured a lot of people would like our new, healthier way of cooking.
Okay, let's
Quite
start.
frankly, the response has been better than we'd anticipated. Brown's chicken.
Well, wasn't that the other guy from The Office in commercials?
Which guy?
The bigger guy? I forget his name. I don't watch The Office, but he was in
Like I played Kevin.
Yeah. I forget what commercials he was in, but he was in commercials.
I recently started following him on Instagram, and he's like he's like a big time griller. Like he just
Oh yeah, I saw that.
grills meats and everything. And it's so weird listening to him talk because he has such a deep voice and he's very calm and kind of talks. He's so
Yeah, his
different from how
voice
Kevin
doesn't
is. And you're like,
sound
what the
like
heck?
him, yeah.
It's so strange.
So would you buy Steve Carell's chicken, Jared?
I could use chicken
No.
right now. I'm hungry.
No. We're gonna make Michael hungry. Okay,
I know.
Bubble Yum
This
commercial.
is a chunk of super soft bubble yum bubble gum. This is a loud thumping tube pumping boombox.
Team
Both are
pumping.
known for blast. But all
Jesus.
the yum is the fun that never blows out. Big mouth busting bubble yum keeps it popping.
So there's Leo. What'd you guys think of Leo's acting?
When I saw that, I was like, he should be in The Departed, saying F words and be in Boston.
This
That
kid
man-
does.
Deserves to be on a
Kid's-
boat.
This kid's a gangster. All right, here's one probably a lot of people have seen. Paul Rudd.
Oh my gosh.
Time to step up to this kind of power, this kind of challenge, this kind of flying, crashing, feeling. When you decide to get serious, there's a
They put SimCity up there.
games of Super Nintendo. No one else
Dude, Paul Rudd's early career was crazy.
because no one else creates.
What is he, like 30 or
Dude, no joke. He's probably 80 at this point because he doesn't age. You have no idea how old the man is.
An immortal being.
He's just been lying about it forever.
Did that get you wanting to play Super Nintendo?
Oh, man.
Yes, but I always want to play Super Nintendo.
I thought that was going to be an ad for an arcade at first, but it wasn't.
All right, here we go. JGL.
Oh,
Up
dang.
commercial.
Hold on, Mr. Rushing out the door. You haven't had your breakfast yet.
Oh my god.
Oh, I know. Tick, tick, tick. Look, you've got time for Kellogg's Pop-Tarts.
Not even frosty.
That's my boy. Now you're cooking. Look,
Dang, I want a Pop-Tart.
favorite.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't
Ready to hit
want.
the spot, kiddo?
Oh, those look better than any
Real
Pop-Tart I've
good.
seen in my entire
Real
life.
See? That didn't take long. Now, don't forget your homework.
What a brat.
I just can't not see him from Angels in the Outfield. I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's so good.
What do you think when you see Ben Affleck?
I mean, Burger King has
bad,
already got me negative right now. Was Burger King ever good?
Yes,
Yeah,
in the
90s.
90s, it
Think
was
so?
amazing.
Yeah, this is Burger King.
Gosh.
deliver a chef salad?
For you, absolutely.
Oh, we got licensed
Excuse
music,
me?
so we gotta talk over
Yeah, I know.
Everyone gets quiet.
We'll just talk for them. Where's my Burger King?
Something
Unless you gotta break
breaking
the rules.
of Burger King.
Oh my gosh.
That was he didn't look like him back in the day.
Well,
Yeah, I
he
feel
was
like
young.
he's dude. Speaking of people who don't look like them, because what did Zac Efron had? He had like some sort of jaw surgery because
Yeah.
something happened, dude. He looks in that new trailer for that movie with that the he's like the Nicole Kidman's dating like a movie star or something like that.
Mhm.
And then anyway, I'm just like, how does that doesn't? It's like Zac Efron's in there, but it's so vastly different. It's hard for me to comprehend because jaw's like.
Okay, this is Brad Pitt.
Oh, no,
No, mine.
Pringles.
Oh no, Pringles!
I've got the fever.
Goats. What? The devil just come in here? A bunch of little demon
Man,
children.
who's hyped for Pringles that much? Pringles had their own song.
I
There you
did
go.
not realize that. Pringle fever.
The Pringle fever.
Jeez Louise. Oh my
I don't ever
God.
think about eating Pringles when I'm in a convertible riding down the beach.
I was thinking about other actors that I don't know where they got. Do you guys have any idea where I almost said Dwayne Denzel Washington got his start from? I have no idea.
don't.
He was the first one
I
that popped
think
in my
he was
head of like, I
probably,
wonder where he came from.
On a show, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Google that while we continue.
Yeah, Google that. So bonus stuff time.
Was that not the bonus stuff?
This is like my old notes. It was like, well, homework time, I guess I should say.
Mhm.
A little bit of news, not a lot. So if you heard a bunch of 1,000 nerd voices screaming out in pain this week, that was because the Acolyte episode 3
Oh,
came out, and
Oh my god!
the backlash was swift and it was strong in the force.
did you watch it?
I did watch it.
Oh, I
did you
not.
watch it?
Mm-mm.
Okay. How to describe it? So it does a thing. The worst thing it does is it breaks some canon. That's always not a good thing when you're dealing with franchises. Basically, it makes Anakin's birth not as important or not as special because apparently you can make babies with using the Force now if you're like a witch. So that wasn't great. I want the actual episode. It's not like terrible. It's like pretty on par with the other episodes we watched. So it's not like extremely terrible. It's just like it contradicts itself a lot. And like it does it this series has been described as like making the Jedi look bad. Like maybe the Jedi are a little corrupt or something like that. But if you're watching this, it didn't really seem like it. It seemed like these people were born into like a dark side cult, and the Jedi came and kind of helped them out of that cult because they call themselves witches, and they're trying to force their views on their daughter because the daughter's like, "Hey, I kind of want to do something else. I don't." Yeah, I feel different than you guys. I want to like go out into the galaxy, and they're like, "No, you got to be a witch like us too." So it kind of makes the Jedi look like good guys because they come in and they give her a choice to leave, and she's like, "Yeah, I want to be a Jedi." So it was very weird. It's just I think people are just the canon breaking stuff. It does suck. That's just like modern writing. It's like everything has to be better than what came before it. We got to make our people like more special than the heroes of old and stuff like that. We got to make them more powerful and stuff like that. So that sucks. There was some very cringe moments. With I think you guys have seen the singing part.
I have
That was
not.
very
Oh my.
no, okay.
I saw like hints at a musical and I was like, what the heck are they talking about?
There's just a part where they're like chanting. It's kind of cringy, and then they call the Force the thread for some reason. It's weird because they got to redefine everything. And they're like, there's no good or evil. And that's obviously, whenever someone says that in Star Wars, that's obviously they're turning to the dark side.
I'm about to say that's Voldemort's line in Harry Potter 1. There's no good or evil, just power, and those too weak to seek it.
That's exactly what they say. There's no good. It's not about good or evil. It's just about power and who gets to use it. It's like,
It just stole that from Harry Potter. Oh,
So, yeah,
and
that
the
was-
bad guy says it.
yeah, well, yeah, the hero, the bad guy and the girl that we met last time, it's explaining their backstory. So they grew up in this cult, like where it's all witches, it's all females, and that they made the girls using the Force. So I don't know how that works, but they used the Force and put it into the lady, and she got pregnant with the babies.
Force babies.
Yeah, it just a lot of stuff didn't make sense.
Maybe Anakin, it's like Zelda, where he comes from a line of, or Ganon comes from a line of women, but he's the only male in like
Male.
100
There you go.
years.
Just
There you go.
Maybe.
my new favorite quote is that I sent. I don't know if you guys watched it in Friendsgiving I sent earlier. It was Nicolas Cage talking about National Treasure 3. And he's like, he turns to whoever's in the interview with, and he's like, no, there's no National Treasure 3. You guys keep putting this up, and I have to keep saying it. He's like, if you want to look for treasure, don't go looking at Disney. I was like, that is
Wow.
that is harsh, but very true.
That's good stuff.
I was like, only Nicolas Cage can get away with saying that.
And then they're like, the rest of the galaxy, they hunt us and they don't want us to be together or something like that. So we have to live alone. And it's just like, but the daughter is still not allowed to choose her own path for some reason. She's got to be. This is weird. There's just a lot of contradiction and stuff. I don't know. I have a feeling that it's because, like, when I was watching, I'm like, okay, these are obviously dark side users. They're not good guys. They're not the Jedi. So I still think of the Jedi as being good, but I think the show overall kind of wants you to think the Jedi can be bad or something like that. So I just don't get that from that episode because it doesn't really make those witches look good or not. They just kind of look like dark side users. Now this was a funny story. So there's been a rumor for a while that Taylor Swift was going to be in Deadpool 3 as Dazzler, or that she had been casted as Dazzler, who's an X-Men. She came out in the 70s. She's like this disco singing X-Men. So they're like, oh, okay, that's going to be
Yeah,
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift can sing disco. That's
So the first appearance of Dazzler in the comics, those comics started getting bought like crazy, and the prices for the comics like shot up. So they were like really expensive to find her debut issue. And then recently they came out and they're like, yeah, Taylor Swift's not in this movie. So the comic value just crashed.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone's selling it. Oh man. And then more on the Marvel side, the Blade movie that they've been trying to make for a long time has lost its third director because the director number 2 didn't want. No, they're gonna get they're on their third director because the second director wouldn't go with the plan they wanted, so they fired him. So now they have a third director, and now they have 7 writers for it, or it's been through 7 writers.
Jeez.
So.
That's all
This
quote
movie's
from
never
Mahershala
gonna-
Ali's. I can't think of the word. What is their person that they go through?
Their agent?
Agent. I want to say accountant. Then I was like, that's definitely not right. Their agent. And it was like a quote from them. They're like, I've never seen anything like this in my professional career. It's like, the movie's been through hell.
Yeah, he's been trying to quit it, and he's probably gonna leave. The main thing is the rumors is they don't want Blade to be the lead of the movie. At first they wanted him to like have like 3 other women who are like the real leads of the movie, and he's just kind of in the background. And then so they didn't like that. So then they went to where Blade has a daughter, and it's like the daughter is the actual hero of the movie. So they actually don't want Blade in this movie for some reason. They have to call it Blade or something. I don't know what Disney's doing. It's very weird. That's all the news I had. Did you guys see anything around your week?
Only thing I saw was this video where Matthew McConaughey was like, I want to be the governor of Texas. And I've been studying politics and stuff like that. I'm not ready yet, but it's just, I want
It's coming.
to. Yeah. And he was talking, I was like, dude, elect him now. He sounds great.
Oh, man.
So you would vote for McConaughey?
I would in an instant.
I can never, like, I always go back and forth on him. Like, I love his book, Green Books, a lot. And then I watched this other thing with him, and I'm like, then it just seemed like kind of a weird, because they see he started like a almost like a motivational like group kind of thing, but it was like a big pay-in for it, like buy-in. And I was like, this is weird. Like they had a whole event celebrating everything, and I kind of watched it. I was like, that feels kind of strange. It's a little off-putting. And then I don't know.
Yeah.
So he kind of goes back and forth. I'm like, I don't really get you. Maybe I don't know. I get confused. So,
Who are you, Matthew McConaughey?
Well, maybe as governor,
It's like,
you'll know.
It's like with like Rage Against the Machine. They're all like very anti-capitalist, but their concerts, the tickets are like thousands of dollars to get into the concerts. It's like, okay, what are you doing there? Well, that's all I got for news. You guys want to get into the homework you guys did?
Homework.
Jerry?
I'll go. I don't really have much.
Dang.
What do I have? I've listened to an album. I listened to an album that was recommended to me by someone at work. Hold on, let me pull it up. By Suicide Boys, their new album dropped called New World Depression. And they're kind of like emo rap. I never listened to them before, so I gave this one a shot. And it was a good album. I liked it a lot. I was surprised. I guess I like emo rap because it was way more piano than just like that standard beat you always hear. Some good samples and stuff like that, and just overall good album. Other than that, I picked up or I re-downloaded Elden Ring because that DLC. Originally, I just stopped playing. I was like, I'm kind of done with this. I'm not really feeling this right now, so I played something else at the time. I booted it. I beat the Fire Giant last night. Couple other bosses, and apparently I'm close to the end.
Yeah.
So probably beat that sometime soon, and then start the DLC. I also played a game called Haunt that was on Game Pass.
Hunty or something like that.
Yeah. Your little lost soul, I guess recently deceased, and you're kind of in a limbo world. You're trying to ascend into heaven. You make a friend with like an angel, which they call like an eternal or something like that. And you just want to go be friends with them up in heaven, but you're chained down by this limbo world, so you gotta ascend. The art's cool. Gameplay's not anything crazy, kind of just like a Binding of Isaac, a twin sticks shooter kind of thing. But I like it. It's one of those cozy games. Other than that, not really anything else.
Is it Haunt with like exclamation points?
I have no idea. I thought it was just Haunt.
Because I saw Haunty, like Haunt with two eyes, and it's like maybe those are exclamation points. I don't know what this game is called.
Kind of just been still watching those EFAP movie watch-alongs, and then like they have so many videos that are like 12 hours long, and I've been watching them because I kind of like when they
like a guilty look. You're like, I've been watching.
I like when they like watch a YouTuber's video and they just crap on them.
Oh yeah, that's
and
good.
They crap on them and their opinions, and I'm like,
I like the ones where they watch CinemaSins Joker video.
Oh, I just
watched them. Good. You got to check that out.
I just watched them watch Jenny, or is it was it Jenny Nicholson's video on the Joker, and they were
Oh, really?
they just were not having it. And then it's funny, they're usually kind of like they usually kind of put things down like movies, like modern movies and stuff like that. But I watched their Lord of the Rings watch through. It's the complete opposite. They don't stop like praising it, and I'm like, dude,
Heck yeah, send me that video. I'll watch that 12-hour video. I'll watch that 12-hour video.
You that video.
You have? Oh,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, it's not that good. Calm down.
It is.
They're just like,
perfection.
they're just like, the cinema has just peaked there and has never gotten better. I'm like, God.
Amen.
Oh, I want to talk about one YouTube video by Goose Boost, which he does like creepy videos and stuff like. Michael, all you
these names, man, I can't take. We sometime a bonus topic. You gotta accumulate it. You and Thomas and Joseph just bring all your names together and we'll rank them as most ridiculous. Because they're just some ridiculous. We got to do the tier system sometime. You know how they have like the S tier stuff. Be like, that's an S tier name right there. That's F tier. You didn't even try. Because man, some of these are just absurd.
That's a good one. We need to do that.
That's a good bonus topic.
But he had a video on this. Well, he always does like 2 topics, but on the first topic, a couple months ago, there was this video that was in everybody's like recommends, and it was just called. It didn't have a title. It was by a person or a channel called Zeppelin. And it was just a person in a white mask, a robe, and like a black wig, or maybe that was hair. And they were just playing piano, looking at the camera. It was like really creepy. It was like 30 seconds long, but it was like recommended to everyone. It got like a ton of views.
The heck?
But that's all it was. They don't have any other video. There's like one other video, but it's just as weird as that one.
You know, it'd be funny if the guy took off his mask and it was Bono from YouTube. That's
it's like, this is going to be on your phone this evening.
Yeah, we did it to YouTube
now. I remember watching the video. I was like, that was creepy. And no one knows like who did it. Still doesn't know anyone who does it. But back when it came out, no one talked about it. So I was like, okay, I guess it was just my recommends, but apparently it happened to everyone. And finally glad someone talked about it, because I thought I just got a weird video that they recommended.
I love that stuff though, where it's like you like when bands do that or whatever. Was it Daft Punk that no one knew who it was for a long time, or was it someone else? I can't remember. There's like some band where they always wore masks or something like that. No one knew who it was forever. And I love that kind of junk. It's so fun.
Well, yeah, Daft Punk wore masks the whole time.
Yeah. I like when they unveiled their faces for the first time. And they're like, oh, they're just weird French guys.
Okay, whatever.
One other thing before I'm done, I tried that Cheez-It Crunch Wrap at Taco Bell. Sucked.
Oh, yeah, it's Taco Bell. What do you expect?
Cheez-It?
Can't really taste it. It's not that crunchy, so it just kind of crumbles in there.
It does look gross.
That sounds so gross, man. Don't do that.
But that was my week.
Don't do that to yourself. You or me, Joseph? Who's going?
Right. You can go.
All right.
Those rooms on fire. There's smoke.
Oh, it is. My little humidifier's going off. It's okay. Don't sound the alarms. Don't sound the alarms. Let me get to my notes. Watch list. Okay. I guess we'll start with games, because we talked about it last week. I finished. So last time I had one chapter left in Hellblade. I did finish that this midweek, whatever, and like this is where I'm like, man, if the whole game, like I said last time, if they had taken out a little bit of puzzles and just really focus on just this story driven, like you go through the parts and you go through the combat sequences, it'd just be freaking incredible. Like 10 out of 10, 100%. This last chapter is so good. You kind of get in this like kind of tundra, like this storms blowing in, because, you know, like I said before, like they're going off these giants. But you kind of go to the leader who in the initial part of the game, you are basically on a slaver's boat going to be sacrificed to these giants, because that's how the people, you know, are keeping them happy and staying alive. And so you go to the leader that's doing all this, and the performance by him is so freaking good. You immediately get that just kind of self-absorbed, just kind of disgusting man, but he does it so well. And like his son is the one that initially had you, and then you go back and you change like throughout the story. His perspective has changed. He's like trying to convince his dad, hey, she's here. She can take care of the giant. We don't have to give people up anymore. Anyway, incredibly well done. The sequences in that last chapter were so freaking good. And I sent you guys a couple pictures. And I'm like, this is in game. And there are parts I could not tell. Like whenever she's like, it's just like black. I'm like, I don't know if that's actually recorded from her face or not. Like it looks so real. It's incredible. But yeah, the performances are just stunning in this last, throughout the whole game, but this last chapter especially, I feel like it just kind of carried the pace really, really well and just finished super strong. Because at first I thought the chapter before, because it kind of went from the son that you're with, his son that you're with, he's like, well, we have one more to deal with, and it kind of like pan camera up. I was like, that's not the end of the game, is it? Like, we're not going to set up for a third one and leave it. Thank goodness they did not. We went and finished the whole game, and yeah, that last chapter was so freaking good. So loved that. Shows went to the next Doctor Who episode. This is another one that I had heard was highly rated. I jumped into it, and like off the bat, I was like, oh man, this is incredible. Like it felt like an old school A24 film. Basically, they landed in Wales, I think, whatever, and he steps on some weird kind of culty looking circle thing or whatever. He broke the yarn on it, whatever, and the Doctor ends up disappearing. And Ruby's like, what the heck's going on? Why are you here? And then this old lady shows up, and that episode is called 72 yards. So this old, or 73 yards, 72, I think. And so she's 72 yards from her permanently. Like she won't come any closer. Ruby can't get any closer to her. So she starts asking people around the town. She's like, hey, she kind of gets into this pub at night. She's like, I can't find my companion I was with. I don't know what's going on. This lady's been following me forever. Can you go ask her? Just tell her I'm fine. I don't know. She's like worried or concerned, or she's just following me. And so anytime anyone goes and talks to this lady, they like look back in fright and just take off, and they won't ever talk to Ruby again. Like they won't come near the same as the old lady. And so like builds this whole tension perspective. And I really wish they had kept it contained, because it goes like to where it's like ending up to where it's pursuing through her. They do this a few times in Doctor Who, where like, oh, this event's continuing through the whole life, and then they bounce back course at the end of the episode where they were. But I feel like they just got too big with it, and the kind of the payoff of why it was happening wasn't there for me. It just kind of, because like they mentioned before that a war had been stopped. The Doctor had mentioned a war had been stopped in the future, and that's basically what it led to her stopping it, but it didn't really hit the point. I was like, that's really where you went with that? Like, I wanted a little bit more payoff and intrigue to why the person was so far away and what the whole point was. But the initial beginning of the episode, it was just incredible. And like I keep saying, like, I don't know who they got to run their production, but this show just looks better than most. I don't know what the heck they're doing. Like, it's so well shot, so well paced, like camera wise, everything.
Money.
I don't know, but like most, like Star Wars doesn't look like Star Wars visually looks good. Sometimes like bad, but like literally just the cinematography is so freaking good in Doctor Who right now. And I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know what they did, but keep this person, whoever's in it. But so not a bad episode for sure, but like it didn't land where I wanted to, but such a cool beginning though. I was like, this feels like I'm watching like The Lamb or something, and I'm just like lost in mystery and confusion. It was so cool. I was in the beginning, I was like, I gotta make Jared watch this because it's a standalone episode, but it hit the end and I was like, I don't think it's worth it anymore. But at first I was like, dude, if this stays this way, I needed him to see it, but oh well.
Yeah, I heard that was people's favorite from the season, and then the next one is kind of iffy.
Yeah, I was looking at kind of like the IMDb ratings. I feel like those are usually pretty accurate, and they kind of go back to what the first ones were. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But the one before this was great, and this one had the potential to be great, but I still think it was really good. So, and then the other thing with My Hero was just continuing what we can't talk about from last time. Good stuff. They're kind of leading into what their plans are. You're like, ooh, cool. Go play with all these people. Boo. So and that's all I can talk about because massive spoilers. I watched a movie called Am I Okay with Dakota Johnson. It was a new HBO movie. Didn't really know what it was about. I just saw it on Instagram. I was like, that seems kind of, it was right after I watched Hitman. And I was like, I could use some kind of more talky kind of movie. So I put it on. It's basically like, it's obvious from the beginning, she's kind of struggling with dating and stuff like that, but more in the sense of because she's more into women, but she didn't ever admit at all to the thing. And she's with her friend who's getting a new promotion and things are happening for her. And it's kind of like focusing on her character and how she's very neglectful or resistant to make choices. She's just kind of stuck in what she's doing like that. Yeah. And I don't know. I enjoy the movie a lot. It's very, very funny. Like, which surprised me it's funny, but it's also,
I would have never thought that from the.
I know, like I kind of got in and I was like, this is like super dramatic thing, but like the chemistry between her and her friend is really, really good. I'm trying to think where it ends up. I feel like there's a lot of unfinished threads that they didn't pull on at the end because it kind of just leaves a couple things aside. I don't know. It felt like more of like a continuation to a series than the culmination of a movie. Maybe I'll do it on. I highly doubt it, but it was a fun, just kind of enjoyable watch and really diving deep into like the complexities of just friendships and like that kind of growing apart or struggling to try and like the one friend's like struggles with her bossness, but she's also like, I'm trying to help you because you do nothing. Like they have that whole massive fight of calling each other out, and I felt like it was really, really, really well acted. But it's a good movie. Yeah, that's all I did.
Cool. It
Needed
is
something to act in after Madam Web.
Yeah, I know. It's like that's kind of like because I really like Dakota Johnson as an actress, and I was like, I don't really want to watch Madam Web, so let's see what she's doing after that.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Number 1 at one point.
Yeah, it's true. It was.
So it is. We are recording on Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to the fathers.
The
out
papas.
there, so. Okay. What did I do? Not much. I do have a bad cinema in.
Oh boy.
We'll get to that in a little bit because this one was a stinker. Me and Jonah. So Jonah was in town. So whenever he's in town, we watch Hitchcock movies. And this time we watched Psycho, which is classic, of course. It's good. I've never liked the ending of the movie. It's really weird. The psychiatrist like comes in and just starts explaining everything and telling us the backstory and stuff like that. It's a very weird way to end the movie. Anthony Perkins, who's Norman Bates, is really good in that role. He's just like his movements and stuff like that. He just seems like a modern guy more than he does like because this was 1960, and he just seems like a dude that could be around like right now. In our era, I think Andrew Garfield would probably do good in that role as Norman Bates. I could see him doing that. And then we watched The Birds. So another
Never seen The
classic.
Birds.
The Birds is you've never seen that? The
Mm-mm.
Birds is fun. I saw The Birds when I was really young, and when I was watching it back then, it was all about the birds. Of course, I'm like, oh, look at the birds attacking people. So this time I'm watching, and I'm trying to focus on the story. Well, it's weird. It's this lady, and she has a reputation of being a troublemaker. So she meets this lawyer, and he's like, "Oh, you're a troublemaker, aren't you? You're always in court for making trouble." And it's like, "What? Why?" She's like an adult woman. Why is she making trouble? And even the plot, they're talking in this bird store, and they're talking about birds, and he's trying to get one for his. He's like a 40-year-old man, but he's got a sister that's like 13. It's a little weird. And he wants to get her some birds, and I think they had to order or something, so he didn't get them right away. I don't remember, but he left.
He didn't have Amazon Prime, so he had to wait a little while.
That 2-day shipping, man.
He spends his week every week. So he's from San Francisco, but every weekend he goes and visits his mom and his sister at this little town. And so she kind of finds out, she sees his license plate, and for some reason she has contacts that can look up license plates for her. Her dad's like a newspaper owner. He owns like a big newspaper. So I guess that's why she has these contacts. So she tracks this dude down, and she buys birds, and she drives all the way out to the town just to sneak some birds into his house and like leave. And it's like a practical joke or something. I'm like, what is wrong with this woman? This woman is crazy. But yeah, The Birds is good. I think we're gonna rate them probably once we finish a bunch, but I like The Birds. Psycho's weird, man. Psycho's really good, but then that ending, it just gets me. I don't know. And then we also continued with our Superman, Batman watching. So what are we on? We finished Superman season 2. So season 2 has probably my favorite Superman Batman story, which is World's Finest. It's just like this 3-episode little arc, and it's about the first time Batman and Superman meet. And it's just like way better than anything that's ever been in the movies between these two. So I wish they could adapt that. And then, so Jonah started Batman season 3, or it's called the New Batman Adventure. So this is where the style changed. So you remember the old Batman? He's like blue and gray. This one, he's all black and gray now. And Robin, his Tim Drake Robin. And I found out Jonah doesn't care for Tim Drake Robin. He's like, he's just some
Dang.
kid. He doesn't feel like he. He doesn't feel like he's earned the title of Robin, Jared. So, and
None of them do.
I was surprised because he was also critical of the art. He didn't like the art style as much as the original series, which I always had a weird time watching it when I was younger. And it did switch to that more like angular style of them. Everyone's like super skinny and.
I did like the Joker redesign with his black eyes with like the white dots. You know how they changed that? I just kind of like
Jesus.
that.
Yeah, they changed like everyone. Scarecrow, like, just like I don't know, really more scary on this one. Catwoman looks totally. She's a brunette now. What else? Mr. Freeze. He's kind of the same.
Still bald?
But he's still bald. But he wears black and still like the blue he used to wear. I like the bat suit on this one, the black, and because I like blue Batman, but this suit looks good.
That's not Batman. That's not Batman. That's lame.
You don't like blue Batman?
Have you seen a blue bat before? No.
I'm sure there is some. And then the only like serious thing I watched this documentary called Six Schizophrenic Brothers. So this was just like a tragic story. This family had 12 children, and there was like 10 boys and 2 girls. And
Poor girls.
6 of the boys ended up being schizophrenic. So they were like very violent, and it was just really rough living in this house. And then it was during the 60s and 70s so they were all like taking drugs, and that didn't help things. And it was just a very tragic story about this family. They grew up in Colorado Springs, and they were trying to they're trying to figure out why this happened. And back then they were leaning on like it's the mom's fault, like the mom's parenting style. That was the reason these kids turned out like they were. But also they all had, I think almost all of them had like brain injuries, so that could have played into it. And then like the drugs and stuff. So it was interesting. It's a very interesting documentary, just kind of hard to watch because they go through a lot of hard stuff.
Was the brain injuries all one event, or was it like?
No. So like a lot of them were into sports. So they're thinking like they played hockey, and they're thinking they got head injuries, and football head injuries, and that might have caused it. And then one of the kids, he was like fighting with a brother, and then the brother like threw him down and he hit his head. So they're thinking that could play a lot of it. What happened? Some people are saying like the water up there was weird or something. It's just like they're trying to
poison the water hole.
trying to figure out why this happened. That is a very interesting documentary. So the next one, okay, it's bad cinema time. So guys, I was not expecting this to be so bad, but it was. So it's a movie called The Painter. So this one starts off in a diner, and we see this guy drawing, and he's got earplugs in, right? So he takes them out, and then he can hear like everything. He can hear people cutting their eggs. Hear what people are talking about. He can hear the cars drive up. So we found out this guy's got like a super hearing power, okay? And we find out that his wife calls him, and he talks to her, and he's like, yeah, I'm on one more mission. I'm off of this. So we find out that he's working for the CIA. This guy in the diner sneaks up on him, right? And it's John Voight, in a costume.
And he bites him.
Like, we're like, oh, it's John Voight. He's in a costume, and we find out that's his dad. It's actually his adopted dad because he gets a bunch of backstory for breakfast or whatever. I think it's dinner, but he gets a lot of backstory with his meal. So John Voight's basically like, yeah, your parents died in a terrorist attack, and I loved your parents, so I took you under my wing. But that attack, like there was an explosion and it hurt your ears, and somehow that made you have super sensitive hearing. And then so it was real painful for you, but then I was like, man, we could make this a superpower. I just got to train you because he's in the CIA. Um, there's some cringe lines in this one. He's like, what was one? He's like, I can't take the place of your father, but maybe we can make our family of our own. It was just a really weird delivery, and a movie's bad when they got to do the backstory when a guy has to tell you the backstory and they don't kind of like weave it into the movie. So yeah, he's in the CIA, right? So he's on a mission because the dad he's like his boss and he tells him the mission. So he goes on this mission, and we get this action scene. He's like shooting, fighting people. But then his wife shows up, and we're like, what the heck? And she's with the CIA as well. But they all pull the guns on him because like he's a rogue agent or something, and they're not on the same side. And the wife, one of the guys that he had beaten up, like gets up and shoots the wife, and she's pregnant. For some reason, she's a pregnant lady in the field, and they shot the pregnant
What
lady.
the heck?
So they tell him that I forget the guy's name. I'm sorry. I'm bad with names, but I forget the guy's name, the main character's name, but they call him the painter. So they tell the painter that he's lost the baby. So he quits his job. He's not into the job anymore. They tell the wife that she could never have babies anymore. So he takes up painting, and there's a very dramatic painting scene where he's just like, he's like remembering all this stuff, and he's painting, and it's dramatic. So then we go, and I can't remember. It's like 16 years later or something like that, and we get this extraction scene. There's this kid in a car, and there's like we think it's a bad guy, and he's like knocking it on the door. And he's like, "Hey, kid, let me in the car, man. Let me in the car." And the kid's just sitting there, like not paying attention. And then the guy gets shot, and this other guy with some Dre Beats comes, and he's like, the kid opens the door for him, and apparently the kid's on that guy's side. And he's like, "Yeah, you got to listen to these beats, man." He gives the kid the headphones, and that was a weird scene. So next, he makes a pun. He's like, "These beats kill, man," and it's like, okay.
Who's the main actor for this? I can't picture who this is. I'm gonna look it up. I can't picture who I'm supposed to be.
He's a brunette guy with a beard. So the painter, he gets a package, and he's like, "Hey, what's this?" And he opens it up, and it's some books about painting. And he remembered, oh, my wife gave me these books about painting. So he remembers some sexy times with his wife. And then he goes out and he gets like a call from, I don't even know who, it's like the bartender of the local like bar. And she's like, "Hey, you should come out, man. You never get out." And he's like, "Yes, I do." And she's like, "No, you don't." So he's like, "I'll be there." So he's like walking to the bar. He runs into this junk man. They call him the junk man because he's like a poor guy with carries junk around with him. So he's like, "Hey, junk man, what's happening?" He goes in and he's having a beer, and the bartender's like, "You should have 2 beers." And he's like, "It's not a 2 beer kind of night."
Can't afford it.
So he's there, and then this girl walks in, and she's like, "Hey," she's like holding this painting, and she's like, "Hey, my mom said to find you, painter man." And he's like, "I'm sorry, my name is Mark. I'm not the painter man." And she's like, "No, you are the painter man." And she's like, she holds up the painting. He's like, "This is my mom." And he's like, "Oh no." But he still is like, "You got the wrong guy. I'm going home." He's like, so he goes home, and then the girl like follows him to the home, and he's like, are you stalking me? What's going on?" And she's like, she's like, "Okay, I don't think you're the guy. I don't think you're my dad, but can I borrow a charger? Because my phone's almost dead." He's like, "All right, you can borrow
No,
a
it's
charger."
the movie Cellular.
And then she gets in there and she doesn't even need a charger. She just starts looking at the paintings and she's like, "Ha, you have a painting and this is my mom, so you're obviously my dad." Uh, he's like, "Ah."
Oh, shucks, you got me.
And then the cabin is under attack. And so he fights all these guys with guns, and he's got like a meat tenderizer, and he's like hitting them in the head with it. And they're fighting, and the girl shoots one of the guys with a drop gun. And I guess the CIA just, if they want to be undercover, they just cover their patch with like a Velcro because he takes it off and it says CIA. He's like, "Dang, I found you guys out." So we meet the bad guys, which are these two CIA ladies, because the ladies running the CIA now. And they're talking about it, and they're like, "Who's the suspect?" And it's this guy, and he's like, "Oh, you mean the painter?" Because like everyone knows him as the painter. So I guess that was his code name when he was a hitman. And then we meet this other guy who's like a music hitman. He's always got his beats in, and he's just like dancing around in his hotel room and to these beats. They're like, "We need you to kill the painter," and then he's like, "I'll do it."
They're all hobby based. The
There's
next
this
guy's
weird
like card collector. He collects cards.
So they go to the dad's house, so John Voight, and they go there. It's the CIA ladies, right? And they're talking to him. They're like, we got a problem with the painter. And he's like, "You want some milk? I got skim milk." It was weird. He's like, "I have skim milk. I didn't read the label, but I think it's skim milk." It's like, what the heck? Why is that in the movie? He's like, "I didn't check the label, but I'm pretty sure it's skim milk." So what do we got? So they tell him like he's killed people in cold blood, and he's like, "That doesn't sound like my painter." And he's a national security threat, so we gotta go find him. And he's like, "I'll get to the bottom of it. You guys just go away." So the painter, it turns out he's got a hacker friend, and the hacker friend can hack into the CIA, so that's really helpful. And then he tells the girl that he can't be her father because he thinks the daughter died. The music guy, the guy with the draped beats, is investigating the cabin where they attacked the guys, and he's like looking at the paintings, and he's like, "He's pretty good, but he's not my style."
I wouldn't say
so he's like-
professional, but that's all right.
So yeah, so they're like, "Why is the CIA?" He's trying to figure out why the CIA is chasing him. The girl says that her name's like Sophia, and they think she actually like knows more than she should. And it's like, "Who are you? Why are you? You're playing me. What's really going on?" The music hitman goes to the bar where he kills the bartender. And then he does a little dance. He loves dancing.
He
Man.
does a little.
He does a little dance for the bartender, and he tells her, "I'm looking for someone." So the painter and Sophia, they go and they meet John Voight, and he's like, "I'm your grandfather," and he doesn't believe. He's like, "Who are you? How do you know my?" How do you know who your mom is and stuff like that? And he tells her the mom has died, so she's all sad. The painter finds a flash drive in one of the books. Remember how the wife had sent him a book? He like tore up the back of the book, the spine, and he found a flash drive on it. So that's nice. So the CIA ladies, they're driving in a car and they're having lady talk. And she's like, "Hey, chief, the one CIA she's like, "Hey, Chief, how does it feel to be back in the field?" And the chief's like, "Well, if you guys weren't so stupid, I wouldn't have to be back in the field." So one of them's like, I don't know, one of them's is like a goody two shoe CIA lady, and the other one's just like grumpy at everything. Find out that the music hitman has a power of his own. So the music hitman's actually blind. So the painter guy has sensitive hearing, and the music hitman has this infrared eyes. It's weird. He's like, you can see green everywhere.
What does that
I thought he was blind.
Huh? So well, he's not blind. He sees an infrared. He had to he was blind, and then they put it in his eyes so he could see. So the music man tracks down the painter who's at his hacker friends, and then they're gonna fight. I mean, the painter man's like, "Hey, you want to fight hand to hand? We don't have to fight guns. Let's just fight hand to hand." And the guy's not really interested in fighting hand to hand. So the guy, the painter, or not the painter, music man, he blows a dog whistle, and this really hurts the painter's ears because it's super sensitive. So he kills the hacker dude, and the painter guy somehow escapes. The hacker dude looks like Daniel Stern, I thought. So he looked like a mini Daniel Stern from Home Alone. So he killed that guy. Painter goes to the bar, and he finds the bartender dead, and he's all sad. And we get some backstory. So we find out that these guys have superpowers because they're part of this program called the internship. So he got the flash drive. He put the flash drive into the computer, and it was his wife. And she's like, "Hey, this is what's going on. It's the internship.
No one's getting paid. It's all experience based."
And then she tells him our baby is alive. And he's like, "Oh." And they kidnap the baby, though. They kidnap Sophie, the CIA ladies. They kidnap her while he's at the bar. And I don't remember what they're doing. And she's like, "What was that, Chief? Why are you so violent?" Because they're like threatened Sophia, the little girl, or she's not a little girl, but she's a young lady. They threaten her. The chief threatens her, and the other CIA ladies. I don't know about this. This is kind of mean. That's against protocol, she says. And so the painter goes back, and his dad's like, "Hey, they took Sophia. You got to go get him." So he's got to go down for the final showdown. And then we see the junior CIA lady. She kind of turns. She's like, my boss is too mean. I'm gonna be a good guy now. So she lets Sophia go, and she's gonna try to rescue her.
And she's gonna turn to violence and be like, "She has a right."
But then the CIA lady comes in, the boss, and she's like, "Where do you think you're going?" And she's like, "Follow me." So she takes them, and then she shoots the junior CIA lady. It's like, "Oh,
who's me now?"
Yeah. And so the painter guy's fighting through the facility, and then he comes face to face with Music Man again, and we get a very weird scene where they're like running, and he's like shooting behind them, but he's like not looking, so he's just like bam, 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 and then they're like shooting in between the pallets, and they're just like while they're running. It was really weird.
Looked like they were Naruto running with guns.
And then the painter's like, "Hey man, you don't have to be you. You could change.
You don't have to be you."
Yeah.
The hitman. You can change who you are.
Yeah, you could change. You don't have to be this. You could be something different. But then the Music Man's like, "I like who I am." And then so he's like winning the fight, but then he's like, "Dude, your wife had more fight in her." And the painter man's like, it's all angry. And he stabs him in the eye with a wooden stake, and it's like, dang,
vampire death.
So yeah, the painter killed him. So he goes and he finds the CIA boss, and he's like, "You must be Naomi." And they shoot at each other, and there's bullet time for some reason, like the Matrix, and they're like, "Whoa!" So they both dodge the bullet.
They both fall so.
And he's like, "Oh, you must be an intern as well." And she's like, "I'm the intern."
Oh my.
And then John Voight comes and he's like, I created all the interns. It's like, dang it, he's the bad guy the whole time.
Pay us.
And then what happens? Oh, Sophia somehow they're fighting. Sophia gets the gun. And it turns out she's an intern as well. So another intern. So she's been trained to be like the ultimate intern. And John Voight's got her and he's like, yeah, shoot them all. And she's like, oh no. And then the painter's like, you don't have to do this, man. And he's like, I don't remember you being your father, but I can still be your father. And, we named you Lena. And she's like trying to get her not to shoot him. And so she's like, I'll make my own internship. And she shoots John Voight and the CIA lady. And she's like, I'm the program now. And he's like, and she's like, I prefer to be called the Pretender, and that's her name. So she's
Tie into the old Fox show or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you should help all the interns out there. And she's like, I'm gonna go find them and I'm gonna bring them onto my side. So she's still kind of a bad guy. She's just like, next time we meet, I might not remember you. And I was like, what? Why? Why don't you remember it? Or I might not remember that you're my dad. And I'm like, what? Why?
She's pretending.
Oh, I guess. There's someone erasing your brain or something. So the last scene is he's like at home and he's painting or something. And he's like looking out the window and she's there in the tree with a gun, with like a sniper rifle looking back at him. And they're like, yeah. And then they like smile at each other and they're like, yeah. And then the movie ends. And
that's a good painting.
That's and that was The Painter, a very bad movie, maybe one of the worst movies I've seen so far. So that was fun though. Okay, House of the Dragon returns tonight. So, do you got any hopes, or I don't know, any theories about what are you hoping for out of season 2, Michael?
I have
Sir
no
Christian.
idea. No, that's Joseph's love.
Team Green.
have never read the books or read the book that is supposed to be about this or whatever. I have no idea. I don't know anything about this. Just hope for more Matt Smith. Love me some Matt Smith. They had a interview question I watched before this where him, Emma, and I don't know the guy's name, plays Sir Christian, but he was in the interview as well. And they were ranking the dads of the show to see who was the worst for Father's Day. And Matt got third from the bottom. It's like Christian was like, "No, you deserve the bottom." He's like, "No, the other guy's worse than me." But I don't know what to expect of this show. I'm excited though.
Who's a worse dad than him?
They put some guy named Otto that I didn't remember very well.
Oh, that's the Queen's dad.
Oh, that's her dad. Yeah, because he's just kind of using her, so he's pretty bad.
I don't think he's that bad.
Matt Smith was like, I at least give good presents. It's like, what the heck?
I give dragon eggs.
So, I don't know. I'm excited, though. A little bit. It's been a while since a show I've wanted to watch has aired. I don't think I've...
Cool.
Yeah. Doctor Who's just kind of on the fence for me, so I'm excited for this one. It was just exciting.
I know. The Bear's coming out soon. So
True.
I'm excited for that. Jerry, what do you got going on? You did like a new video, right?
Yeah, we have it scheduled for Tuesday. So look out for that.
A little bit of spaghetti pasta.
Little spaghetti pasta.
Nice.
Put some Parmesan on there.
A little
some pepper flakes.
Are you guys going to do an actual pasta episode once?
We should.
Do I get to be on it
for April Fool's?
Pasta.
Michael didn't know Parm has another name, foot cheese.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
Oh,
he didn't know that. No, that's surprised.
Smells like feet. All right, so that's gonna do it for this time. Throw us some likes, subscribe to the channel, and notify yourself for even more good stuff. And we will see you next time.
Recording stop.